What is up, all of my horror fanatics out there? Welcome back to Late Night Frights. I'm the Late Night Frights horror leader, the Jay Sloan or Jordan, back here to do another video for you. And as always, guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. Now, last week we did a theme, and we actually did our splatter theme last week, so if you haven't checked it out, please go do so. A great week overall, and, great videos were produced. So, this week we're doing horror battles. So, the two films that I've chose to battle are both from the same director, one of the greatest horror directors of all time, I would say in my top five. And this guy here, obviously, everyone knows who this guy is. Everyone knows these two films and the films that he's done over the years. Just a great director overall, and a really good writer as well. He's got a creative talent with what he does, and the things that he creates from his mind, are just so crazy, and I love his style visually, and I'll talk a little bit about him more in this video when we get deeper into the battle. But the two films are, of course, the 1987 Hellraiser, obviously directed by Clive Barker, versus the 1990 NightBreed. Okay, so before I battle these two films to the death, you guys know how we do things around here. I'm going to be reviewing both films very briefly, and then I will dive into the battle. Okay, so I'm going to start off by reviewing Hellraiser, which was actually written and directed by Clive Barker. This one stars Andrew Robinson, Claire Higgins, and Ashley Lawrence, and of course, Doug Bradley as Pinhead. So Hellraiser, the basic story around this one follows this man and this woman who move into this house. And when they move into this house, they don't expect, anything to happen out of the ordinary, but of course it does. We get to see that this woman actually has secrets. Her husband's half-brother, she actually really loved him. She really didn't love her current husband. She loved his brother. And it shows that, years ago in like a flashback that she was actually, screwing around. She was cheating on her husband with his brother, wanted him to take her away with him, but he could not do it. And it's clear to see that it's an unhappy marriage. She really doesn't want to be with this guy. She just sticks with him. And she thinks that his brother is either dead or gone and is not coming back. But we get to see that his brother actually found this cube, or this box, which that's what the story revolves around. And once you crack this cube, once you actually get inside of it and open it, it opens a world to a mix full of pleasure and pain, where there are Cenobites, which I don't want to go into for this film specifically because they're not talked about too much. They are in the later films. But it's it's basically like hell, but it's a mix of pleasure and pain, and most people get enjoyment out of it. Very weird and wacky concept. This guy goes in there, and once you go in there, you're not supposed to be able to escape. You're supposed to be tortured, basically. And he escapes. Somehow, some way, he escapes. Obviously, his human body is tortured. I mean, it's demolished, it's mangled. He doesn't even look like himself. He just looks all messed up. He escapes, and somehow he gets in this house. He gets in the house where the woman and the man live, his brother and his former lover, and she sees him, and she can't believe her eyes. When she sees him, he wants to get back to his old self. He wants to get back to his old form, to be with her. Of course, he's just using her. He never loved her. It was just a matter of using her, and that's what he's been doing all along, and he's back now, so of course it's going to continue. He gets this drop of blood. I think it's blood. I could be wrong, but I do believe it's blood or flesh, and it starts to make him feel better. He's very sick, he's very weak, he's very mangled, he just looks nasty, pretty much disgusting. And it starts to make him feel better, starts to get him back to his old self, and he wants more and more of that, so he makes her do these sacrifices. He makes her get men in there to kill them, and basically get him back to his old self and his old body. Very, very weird and wacky horror flick, but very, very enjoyable as well. I love the practical effects in this. Like I've always said, from Clive Barker, and that goes for this film and every film he's done, especially the next one I'm going to talk about. He knows how to tell a story visually. The way he visually imagines things and puts them onto screen are so amazing. Like, I love the visuals in every one of his movies. And his writing, he's done really good writing and really good short stories, and he's got a very creative mind, to be in the horror genre, the horror field. He is an amazing director, amazing writer, and that bleeds through with this film, Hellraiser, just a great classic film. and the story escalates more than that. I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to spoil much more for you guys. But yeah, Doug Bradley, Pinhead, one of the Cenobites. Um, yeah, I don't want to say much. I know that Doug Bradley really wasn't intended to be the star of this film, and technically he wasn't. He's not in it for too long, but he did manage to get himself on the cover of the film. People really enjoyed him, and that's why they brought him back for Hellraiser 2 and on throughout the series when it became more about Pinhead. To me, this is the best out of the series. I'm not a huge fan of the Hellraiser franchise, much like Candyman and Children of the Corn. Those are franchises to me that are just not. The original films are great, but they just kind of lost my interest throughout the sequels. So there's my review over Hellraiser, such a classic film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. So now I'm going to move on and review NightBreed. Okay, so now I'm going to review NightBreed, which was made in 1990, of course, directed by Clive Barker, starring Craig Schaefer, or Schaefer. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his last name, and for that I do apologize. This one also stars David Cronenberg, and it was really weird to see him in here. He's another great horror director, but he actually did a really good job in this film. Very creepy tone, a very creepy way that he spoke. He was very soft-spoken. Really good job in this one, and many other great actors, as well as Doug Bradley. He managed to squeeze himself into this film. Really good flick. Basically, the plot around this one follows a character named Boone. And we see right in the beginning that Boone is having these strange nightmares about these monsters in a place called the Midian. And he's been having them for quite some time. But the nightmares are starting to slowly turn into dreams. He's actually starting to really like the nightmares that he's having. He feels safe. He feels like he needs to go to these monsters and to the Midian. And he, it says, all of his sins will be forgiven. But of course, he knows it's a dream, right? It has to be. That's not the case. He actually has a psychiatrist who we see that's called Decker, which I won't say much about him, but he is a psychiatrist who he tells all of his stories and dreams to. And it turns out that the Midian, as the film goes along, is not fake. Monsters are real in this film, and there's many other twists and turns throughout the movie. I just don't want to spoil anything. If I say anything else about Decker or Boone or any other of the characters, the Midian, I will spoil. This film, for me, is so easy to spoil, and I don't want to do that for you guys. I will definitely do a spoiler-filled review on my channel. I'll do a regular review, minus the spoilers, then a spoiler-filled review if you guys would like to see it, but I'm not going to give any spoilers on here. So, basically, as the film progresses, we do see that the monsters are real. Great film. Really, really good. I love the acting. I love the vibe. I love the visuals. Once again, Clive Barker does amazing visuals, and in every film that he does, he can tell a story without dialogue. I mean, there's dialogue, obviously, in every movie, but he doesn't need it. Visually, to tell a story, I love his the way he directs. I love his film style. I love his shots that he gets. And I love what his mind creates. This was based on his novel, The Cabal, and, his mind had created all these characters, all these things that he brought to life on film and on screen, and it was really good to see that. And I really loved the villain. I'm not going to say anything about that, but I love the villain in this one. Very cool. Also really loved that they made the monsters in this movie. Monsters weren't the bad guys in this movie. They really flipped the script with this film and saying, monsters aren't the bad guys. We envy the monsters. The monsters are the good guys in this movie, which was really fun to see. This is actually the NightBreed director's cut, part of the new limited edition Scream Factory release that I got. I've only seen the director's cut, but I do have the theatrical cut. I've heard both of these films are like two completely different films, so I'm gonna have to check out the theatrical cut very soon. But the director's cut I was very, very impressed with, and I really enjoyed this film. So that is my review over NightBreed. Okay, now that I've reviewed both films, it is time to battle them to the death, starting with round one. Round one is kills. Which film do I think had better kills? And this is a difficult one. Neither film were based on kills specifically, but they both had their fair share. If I have to pick one, I really like the kills in Hellraiser. I really like the whole torture and pain and pleasure mixing that the Cenobites had. I think I'm gonna go with NightBreed actually, because There were some very creative kills, especially towards the end. I won't spoil anything, but I really liked the kills near the end, and the kills throughout the whole film by one specific character. So I'm going to have to go with NightBreed. I really enjoyed the kills. So yeah. Round 2, story and originality. Now, which film do I think had a better story and was more original? I really liked the monsters in this one. I love the Midian. I would really actually love to read the Cabal now. Very original story. Very, very original. And that's what I love about both films. It's so difficult because both of them were very creative and very original. And that's what I love about Clive Barker, as he always manages to do that with every film that he does. Oh, I guess it just comes down to a matter of preference. I'm going to say, really love the Hellraiser story, guys, but I'm going to have to say NightBreed. Really enjoyed the NightBreed story just a little bit more than Hellraiser. I thought there was more to offer and more going on within the story. So yeah, I'm going to go with NightBreed. NightBreed to me had a better story overall. So round 2 goes to NightBreed. Round 3, blood, guts, and gore and practical effects. Which film do I think had better blood, guts, and gore and practical effects? Now, this is very difficult, guys. This has been a very hard battle in general, but this round is going to be hard because they both delivered in that area. Damn. Which film do I think have better practical effects? I'm going to have to go once again with NightBreed, guys. Really, really loved the practical effects in this one with the monsters and creatures. Loved all the visuals. There's a specific scene in this one where a certain character is walking through the Midian seeing all of these monsters. And I love that scene because every monster within this film, every single monster has a distinct difference. It's very detailed. And Clive Barker, like I said, wrote the Cabal before this, and he had the creative mind to write down every single detail, specifying, and splitting these different monsters up, and it was very awesome. With most films, you see like a zombie film, for instance. Most zombies look the same because they don't have much. They're all very similar, and they're all they all look the same. But with this film, obviously it wasn't a zombie film, but with most films like that, with a wide majority of monsters or zombies, they all kind of have that one specific look, and you're like, oh, okay, I've seen that before. Every monster in this was crazy. The detail they put into it, the hard work they put into it was awesome. With the ending scene, there was so much blood, guts, and gore. I really enjoyed I really thought the practical effects in this one was better than Hellraiser. So, yeah, NightBreed has taken round 3. And guys, we're already on the third round. I usually do 5 rounds, but there's no need in this battle because, NightBreed's already taken 3 rounds. There's no way Hellraiser can catch up. So, NightBreed has won this horror battle. It has defeated Hellraiser. It has taken the cake, and it has came out on top. NightBreed's just an awesome film. Very fun, very enjoyable, visually well done. The acting's good, directing is awesome, and I really loved it. It's a fun monster flick, and it's great that it had Clive Barker's hands all over it, and I'm glad that he adapted it from the Cabal, or if any other director would have looked at his novel The Cabal and wanted to do this, nobody else could have done it but Clive Barker, I think. And this is the director's cut. I've never even seen the theatrical cut. I've heard it's so different. But personally, the director's cut I feel is better than Hellraiser. Don't get me wrong, Hellraiser is a classic horror film, another great film, but I just didn't like it as much as I do NightBreed. So there you go, guys. There is my battle over NightBreed and Hellraiser. Once again, NightBreed just came out on top. Please comment down below and tell me what you thought of my battle. Which film do you prefer, Hellraiser or NightBreed? I'm really curious to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions out there. Stay tuned tomorrow. Chris Brock will be battling 2 horror films of his choice, and that will continue throughout the week with all of our members. I'm the Jay Sloan. Thank you for watching. Comment and subscribe, and as always, guys, keep it horror. Peace.